With the oaths of office for the various elected officials. Congratulations, first off, to all those who won, and thank everyone for voting, no matter who you voted for. Thank you also to Justice Kozlowski for being here, as she always is, and congratulations to her as well on being reelected. We're going to begin with our elected auditor. Richard Spickler is here. So, Mr. Spickler, step to the podium.
Do you have those? Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me go get the oaths.
Sure.
The manager.
All right.
All final there.
You wouldn't see this, huh?
Okay. Find yours.
It's the first time he's been in front of a judge without handcuffs, I think.
I had to go forward in front of her.
That was a joke.
See, he just likes.
I made no comment. I made no comment. Okay, here we go.
You want to do her, or do you want to?
That's right, good.
Okay.
Huh? Okay. I don't know if you want the Bible. There you go. Raise your right hand, place the left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Richard Spickler,
I, Richard Spickler,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office of auditor
to the office of auditor
for the Township of Falls,
for the Township of Falls,
County of Bucks,
County of Bucks,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sign 2 copies here.
Sure.
We'll leave them here and then I'll seal them.
Thank you.
Okay, our other elected auditor is Mrs. Rosemary Malashewski.
Hello. How are you feeling? Happy New Year. You too. You ready? I'm ready. Okay, raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible. I, Rosemary Malashewski,
I, Rosemary Malashewski,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office of auditor
to the office of auditor
for the Township of
for
Falls,
the Township of Falls,
County of Bucks,
County of Bucks,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my
the
office
duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
so help me
so
God.
help me God.
Mrs. Malashewski.
And now our tax collector, Kim Scarpiello.
I, Kimberly Scarpiello,
I, Kimberly Scarpiello,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office of tax collector
to the office of tax collector
for the Township of Falls,
for the Township of Falls,
County of Bucks,
County of Bucks,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And now for the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Brian Galloway.
I, Brian M. Galloway,
I, Brian M. Galloway,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office of Supervisor
to the office of Supervisor
for the Township of Falls,
for the Township of Falls,
County of Bucks,
County of Bucks,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
And now Mr. Jeffrey Rocco.
I, Jeffrey Rocco,
I, Jeffrey Rockwell,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office of Supervisor
to the office of Supervisor
for the Township of Falls,
for the Township of Falls,
County of Bucks,
County of Bucks,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution. I will support, wait a minute.
Okay. That I will support, obey, and defend
That I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Those two copies.
Okay. Thank you again. Thank you very much, Justice Kozlowski Duffy. Appreciate
Thank
it as
you.
always. Happy New Year to you and your family. And congratulations again on all the office holders who were sworn in. This is a reorganization meeting, and so the primary responsibilities is to name officers and appoint professionals, as well as establish a few parameters for the board this year. Is there a motion for a temporary chair to preside?
I'd like make a motion to appoint Bob Harvey as our temporary chair.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Okay. As temporary chairman, move to item number 1, which is a chairman appointment. Is there a motion to appoint the chair?
Make a motion to appoint Bob Harvey again as our chair.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Thank you very much. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Item number 2, vice chairman appointment. Is there a motion to appoint a vice chair for the Board of Supervisors?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jeffrey Dents as the vice chair.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Thank you.
You didn't wait to see opposed. Somebody could have opposed it.
Nobody seconded it.
Item number 3, secretary treasurer. Is there a motion to appoint someone as the secretary treasurer for the Board of Supervisors?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jeff Rocco as secretary treasurer.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
The assistant secretary treasurer appointment typically goes to the manager. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Pete Gray, township manager, as our second secretary treasurer.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item 6, establish meeting dates and times for regular meetings. We have had the third Tuesdays at 7 p.m., and we've kind of kept reserved the first Tuesdays of each month for in case of having meetings. but the only scheduled meetings would be the third Tuesdays. Is that still the wish of the board, 7 PM?
Yes.
Works for
Yes.
me, yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to make the third Tuesdays, 7 PM, the official meeting dates of the Board of Supervisors?
So, seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. I skipped public comment, which is okay, because nobody really wants to talk, and nobody signed up, so. You're right, I apologize, you're right. Thank you, I skipped right ahead. We should have actually forgot to do the salute to the flag. I was waiting till everybody was sworn in, and then I kind of charged right ahead. So this time, we'll begin a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So a little bit out of order here. So maybe now we'll we'll give Mrs. Pullen her chance to get on the screen. First time in 2018. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Galloway?
Here.
Mr. Bransky?
Here.
Mr. Harvey?
Here.
Mr. Dents?
Yes, I
Mr.
hear it.
Rocco?
Here.
So thank you. Probably, yeah, skip right ahead of that. All right, we have no one signed up for public comment. Okay, I didn't assume nobody wants to speak. Okay, all right. So at this time, we have the appointment of professionals. Is there a motion for the township solicitor's position and special counsel's positions?
I'll make a motion to approve Mike Clark as the township solicitor.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion for labor council?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jordan Yeager as our labor counsel.
Okay, all right, is there a second?
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, for land development attorneys?
I'll make a motion to appoint Randy Flagger and Flagger and Associates as our labor counsel for, I'm sorry, as our attorney for land development and zoning.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Where are we at now? Okay. Our labor counsel for police negotiations, right?
Mm-hmm, and also code appeals.
And code appeals, I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Dave Truelove as our,
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
and for our conflict counsel, I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Bidley Meyer and Bidley Meyer as our attorney solicitor.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
For engineer, two engineers, the engineer of record, and also a traffic engineer and conflict engineer. Is there a motion to appoint a engineer of record for the township?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jim Sullivan as our engineer of record for the township.
Seconded.
Sure you don't, Joe Jones?
No, Jim
Okay.
Sullivan.
All
Joe Sullivan? there?
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And for our traffic engineer, I'd like to appoint,
And conflict too, I guess.
and conflict engineer, Remington Vernick, Palm Beach,
Seconded.
and Chris Fazio.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Now, should we be appointing the firms or just calling them out by name?
It depends upon, it's at your pleasure. You can appoint an individual or a firm.
Should we appoint Noah Merlier instead of Mike Clark?
That would go over well.
Don't give me a heart attack. And belated thank you, by the way, on behalf of Mike Clark.
All right, item number 9 is considered a township manager's agreement for 2018. Okay, board's had a chance to have some discussion on the agreement for Mr. Gray. It's essentially staying the same as it has been. with an increase of 3% raise. Mr. Gray did not take a raise last year at all by his own choice. So is there a motion to approve the manager's agreement for 2018?
I'll make the motion to approve Pete Gray's manager's agreement for 2018.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the Public Works Director agreement. Again, a year-to-year agreement with Public Works Director. He also, essentially, the agreement is the same except for a 3% raise. Is there a motion to approve this Public Works Director agreement for Mr. Lawson?
I'll make the motion to appoint the Public Works Director agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, appointment of a vacancy chair for the past 14 years, maybe, something like that. Mrs. Arlene Goulding has been the vacancy chair for the Board of Supervisors. Vacancy chair only has a role to play if there is a vacancy on the board, and the remaining 4 board members cannot agree on a replacement. Essentially, if there's a tie, after 30 days, the vacancy board chair would then come onto the board, basically for one meeting to vote in favor of breaking a tie to replace whatever member happened to leave office. So,
Has that ever happened?
2001 or 2000, I think it was, something like that.
Yes, it was back in 2000. I believe.
2000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Mrs. Arlene Goulding as vacancy chair again.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, appointments to various boards and commissions. We are going to meet in 2 weeks, and so we do have a variety of vacancies, but I know the board had thought that maybe reappointing to the TOFA board and also to the zoning hearing board, to 2 of our kind of more substantial boards. We have 2 members who have been on those boards for a while and wish to be reappointed. These would be resolutions, correct, Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Okay. And so for Water and Sewer Authority, this would be Resolution 1801?
Yes.
Okay. It's easy, I figured that out, right? That's the first. So that would be appointing Mr. Anthony Rassa to a 5-year term. Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Zoning Hearing Board, Mr. Dan Miles wishes to be reappointed. This would be Resolution 18-2, 5-year term. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. And we'll come back at our next meeting to take a look at some of the other vacancies and encourage members of the public to take a look at our website, where I think we'll have some lists of openings. The one board commission, the Community and Economic Development Commission, there is some debate among board members about what direction we're going to take that board in. I know we've had a couple people who have expressed some interest and we may be changing that board considerably in terms of its focus and its goals, and so I don't think we're going to be appointing anybody to that right now, but if that is something that interests you, please, kind of keep the antenna up, and if that changes and it's still to your liking, then certainly you're welcome to put in for it at that time. The next bit of business is to name the depositories by resolution. Mr. Gray, can you summarize what this is, please?
Yes, thank you. Each year, the board is asked to consider banking institutions located within the township's borders or, in some cases, outside, banks that we utilize for some of our financial needs. We have listed 10 banking institutions for board consideration. Of the 10, 6 we currently use. They would be First National Bank and Trust, BB&T Bank, Pliget, SEI Investments, Invest, and JP Morgan Chase Manhattan. These, as I mentioned, these 6 are currently used. There are 4 additional banks the board may want to consider sometime during the year. They would include Bank of America, First Trust, Citizens Bank, and TD Bank. Again, this is for board consideration for any banking institutions, and the board is asked to consider this resolution.
Okay. Comments or questions for Mr. Gray?
No.
Has anything changed from last year?
No. The only change, one of the bank, actually it was 2 years ago, BB&T used to be called First Service Bank, but they just changed the name. Everything else is the same.
And what decides where we put our money, basically?
Our larger funds are with SEI. SEI holds the host community restricted account, the police pension account. We do have some smaller amounts in Pliget. These are investment vehicles. We do have the day-to-day banking at First National Bank and Trust. That's the payroll, the general fund. And BB&T and Invest are very small, and JP Morgan Chase holds the older bonds that we have. We set aside money many years ago when we defeased the bonds, and they're basically just paying off bonds at this time.
Okay. And how do we decide if we're going to move something from one bank to another? What's involved in that process?
The finance director reviews the rates maybe quarterly to look for the best rate. If there's something better out there, then she would just move the money to the Pliget account or First National, whatever it may be.
Okay. All right. All right. Assuming no public comment. Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 18-3?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Item 15, or next item is recommendation to the Board of Auditors to set the treasurer's bond at $2 million. Hate to steal the thunder from the auditors who are here in the room because they have a lot of discussion on this tomorrow to talk about. But is there a motion to approve the recommendation to set the bond at $2 million?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our next item is about the PSATS conference, which is in April. I think it's been several years since we've sent anybody to that conference. Work schedules, it is during the week, so it's not a weekend conference. It is out in Hershey. I know Mr. Dents, I think you're the only ones that
I've been there my first year, so that was 8 years ago.
Yeah. So, but
It's tough because it's during the week.
Yeah. Yeah, but obviously, if we decide to send somebody, Mr. Gray, I think, has gone in the past to come maybe once or twice, or
Yes, several years ago.
okay, so something to consider. All
Mr.
right.
Sullivan, you go every year, right?
I do not.
Oh, you do not?
No. I've been there a couple times.
Oh, okay. Your company's there.
Yeah, we have other people that go there all the time, yes.
Okay. Next item is to consider the fee schedule for code, fire, and parks and recreation. Mr. Gray, do you want to summarize any changes or updates with this? Or?
Yes, thank you. This is for the board consideration tonight is the 2018 fee schedule. This particular fee schedule has been changed slightly to reflect some increased costs and some additional programs that are offered through the Park and Rec Department. Some of these may be for Pinewood Pool. There are additional programs that are with Park and Rec has with breakfast gatherings that they have with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. And they are also partnering with the YMCA to offer discount memberships for residents of the township.
At the Y.
At the YMCA. The resident would call Falls Township, and then we would work with the Y to secure the reduced rate.
Okay. Comments or questions regarding the fee schedule?
None.
No.
Okay. This will be Resolution 18-4. If there are no comments or questions, is there a motion to approve Resolution 18-4?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 18-4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is consider adopting ordinance amending Chapter 198 taxation, the local services tax. By state law, all municipalities are entitled to charge a $52 a year tax to people who work within the municipal borders and who make more than $12,000 a year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
This only applies to salaries. It does not apply to savings income or dividends or bonds or Social Security or any other kind of payments of that nature. And again, it applies to people who work within the borders of the township. For many years, our rate has been $30 a year. We're probably the only municipality in the state that is not at 52. We can't go above 52. And this is money that was provided mostly to help finance a lot of the costs, especially police department, which is the biggest expense we have is the police department. So at this point, we're going to ask for an approval. We've advertised this.
Yes, we have.
So this will be Resolution 18-01.
-01.
Okay, which would raise that tax, again, $52 a year. So essentially, if you're paid every other week, it's $2 a pay that is going to the township. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 18-1?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Is that 18-1? Is that right?
18-1, yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. We don't have need for the executive session. Mr. Gray?
I just have one item tonight.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Harvey, Mr. Chairman, as you're aware, on December 19th, at the meeting at the board, authorized the hiring of Ronald Trankel to assist our office, Rudolph Clark, with a personnel matter. We recently learned that Mr. Trankel will not be able to assist our office. Therefore, I would ask at this time that the board make a motion to authorize the hiring of Frank D. Wallace to assist our office with a personnel matter consistent with the terms outlined in Mr. Wallace's proposal of December 29th, 2017.
Okay. Any comments or questions?
None.
No.
Okay. Is there a motion then?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I did notice too, bless you, someone sneezed there. I did notice too, there was a memo from Teresa Catalinas from Catalinas Communications regarding her rate. She does public relations for the township. I don't know if board members are looking to consider that as well tonight, in between everything else here in my paperwork. Okay, is there if everybody's okay, is there a motion looking for an increase of our hourly rate would be $70 an hour?
So moved.
Seconded.
What's our current rate, do you know?
Top of your head? No?
I don't know.
Okay. We can hold up and come back in 2 weeks.
I would prefer.
Okay. All right. I apologize. It was buried with other stuff, and I
I
missed
did
it.
see it somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Is there, we withdraw your motion then?
I withdraw my motion.
All right. So we'll come back to that in 2 weeks. I think that was it for manager comment.
Yes, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Board comment? Mr. Galloway?
Just Happy New Year to everyone, and look forward to another 6 years serving with Mr. Rocco and the rest of the esteemed board. Thank you.
Mr. Boraski?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Dents?
Yeah, looking forward to another great year. Thank you, Mr. Harvey, for running the show again. I don't know how we could do it without you. It'd be some big shoes to fill for whoever needs to replace you.
I'll be the vice chair.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that. But yes, looking forward to another great year. Congratulations to everyone again that was sworn in tonight, and that's all I have.
Mr. Rocco?
Just Happy New Year, and, I want to thank my family the last 6 years, actually 8. This could be demanding at times, so thanks for whatever the reason, putting up with it. Judge Veslowski for coming out tonight and swearing us in, and the board for kind of making the decision easy to come back on. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll echo everybody else's comments. Happy New Year to everyone. It is supposed to be very, very, very cold over the next few days while this meeting is running. I'll ask that everyone sort of keep an eye out for those of your neighbors who you know may be having some health problems or might be in need of assistance when it gets this bitterly, bitterly cold. Also, I got an email from a resident who was concerned because there are neighbors in his area that haven't still, to this point, cleared their sidewalks. And so just as clarification, the code is very simple, the law is very simple. 24 hours at the end of any snow or ice event, sidewalks have to be cleared. So you have 24 hours from the end of the event. Whenever the last snowflake hits the ground, you've got 24 hours after that to clear off your sidewalk. And obviously the sidewalks are public property. They have to be kept clear for people to pass through. If there are areas, people that aren't doing that, could be people are away. It could be that people just are unable to do it themselves for health reasons or they're elderly. So we'd hope that neighbors would help them out. But if there's if those aren't the reasons, which are the good reasons, certainly reach out to code enforcement here at the township, and they can make sure they pay a visit, and potentially they'll be talking to Ms. Judge Kozlowski sometime after that. So, and just want to, hopefully we won't have to worry about it anymore this winter. Hopefully next week it'll start getting the 30s, and then 40s, and then 50s and 60s, and and then
The 30s never felt so warm,
by
right?
February we're in the 70s, and everything will be fantastic. So, thank you for everybody being here, and for it's going to be hopefully another good year. And the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.